Hey all, welcome to SLB Basement Bourbon Bar. My name is Kurt, and today we have a much taller, nicer looking fella here than Trenton.
Huh?
Yeah. This is my friend Robert. Thank you so much for joining us today,
Thanks for
Robert.
inviting me.
I asked Robert if he would do a show with me because he likes scotch.
I do. Guilty.
I know. Robert has his own channel. You can find him on YouTube at Barter Hordes, Barterhordes. If you want to take just a few seconds here and explain what you do on your channel.
Sure.
I personally like watching as well.
My channel started years ago as a book channel. I'm still active in the book world, but it kind of ran its course, and I was in a slump. And then over lockdown, I found whiskey, much to my bank balance's dismay, and started watching whiskey channels. And so when I came back to YouTube earlier this year, I started introducing a little bit of whiskey and scotch and bourbon and both. And now I do one video a week, mostly on Fridays, where I talk about what I'm reading and what I'm drinking.
Yeah, it is super fun.
Thanks.
You do a good job. He just finished up not that long ago a Scotch tournament, which I watched every episode because I was really in tune with that. So I thought what would be fun today is if you just picked a couple that you really wanted to try, something that you haven't tried before. So you picked this Arran Quarter Cask.
Correct.
And you also picked the Glen Scotia Victoriana, which I think are both wonderful. I can't wait to taste those with you.
Yeah, they're both distilleries that I've tasted before,
Yes.
but not those bottles.
Yes. On this side over here, it's blank. And you know how Trent and I, we kind of like our surprises once in a while. So we're doing that to you today, Robert.
Okay.
So this one, I think it's something you're really going to like. It's going to be super different.
All right.
Something I don't think you'll ever have seen before.
Probably not.
So I'm going to be on my best behavior, and I'm trying to do my best here because Robert is a retired English teacher. So I'm trying to speak in full sentences and do a little bit better today.
I've been grading his grammar all evening.
He usually sends me comments of what I said wrong.
That's not true.
All right, well, let's get started over here. This first one here, I picked up actually Trent and I when we were traveling through Tennessee. I found this bottle. And I think all you folks out there known, I've said many times, I love Arran. And I know from your tournament that you had, you were a big fan as well, primarily matured in ex-bourbon casks.
Right.
This one here, Robert, too, is a little bit higher ABV, 56.2 ABV, so it's 112.4 proof.
I approve.
Non-chill filter, natural color, good quality stuff. So let's dig into this one first.
I've had the 10.
See what we can find.
And it really did impress me. I was surprised.
Oh, I love the 10. I really do.
Have you seen anything from their, they have a sister distillery on the island now, too, that does their peated expressions called LAG, L-A-G-G. I haven't seen any of their bottles yet.
I absolutely
I think it's so new, it's not even here yet.
Well, you're the one, I've never heard anything about it until you just mentioned it, to be honest. I'll be looking for it, Trent. Did you write that down? Did you put it in your notes in your phone?
Heavily peated.
As soon as I hear peated,
This is a show that Trent doesn't mind not being in right now. He's fine with it. Beautiful nose, really light.
Nice vanilla. Yeah, exactly. That's what I get right off the bat.
Nice vanilla cream, babe. Vanilla cream. Really nice.
It's so much fuller than the 10.
It's oily.
And quarter cask, I guess it interacts with the wood more.
It must. I find it to be, okay, we'll compare this a little bit with the 10-year-old. I find the 10-year-old to have some really nice tropical notes to it. I also find that here. But with this quarter cask with the higher ABV, I find it to be a lot more viscous and oily.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's beautiful
it
texture.
Lasts forever.
Oh, just wonderful. I still get those tropical notes, but as Robert mentioned, just a little bit more vibrant. But a lot of the same types of notes, tasting notes you would get from the Arran 10, just in a much brighter fashion.
There's something about the distilleries along the coast and the islands that I'm not sure if it's a seaside influence. There's just something in there that I can't ever define what it is, but I notice it on a lot of the whiskeys. It's so nice.
Yeah. Well, I like that one. Let's get into this next one. Glen Scotia Victoriana. Now, real quickly, we try to do a little bit of research on the maturation process with this, and it's all over the place.
Yeah, they're kind of secretive about it.
Yeah, so we don't know. We think there's some ex-bourbon there and probably a little bit of sherry in there. But also on the front, though, it does mention that it's finished in the finest deep charred oak casks.
Yeah, there's some kind of a mixture of casks, yeah.
This one's a bit higher proof, too, also, for a Scotch, for a single malt. 51.5% ABV. So
now on this one, the Glen Scotia 15 was one I had in the tournament. And the first time I tried it, I wasn't really that big a fan of it, but I went back to it 3 or 4 months later, and it completely different. I really found that it was a total different experience.
Now that's a different topic that we do a lot of bourbon, as you know. We do a lot of bourbon shows primarily, but do you find that your Scotch bottles open up?
I didn't want to believe it at first, but I do find it really does. A couple bottles that I've had that I didn't like initially and just kind of put to the back of the shelf, and then I went back 3 months later, and it's not the same experience that I remember. Now, I don't have the greatest memory recall either, so sometimes that...
Neither do I. So we're two peas in a pod.
I have noticed that, especially the Glen Scotia 15, really seemed to change.
Right, you mentioned that, so I just thought I'd ask, because I'm telling you right now, there are bourbons that open up beautifully, differently. I mean, it's just all over the board.
Yeah,
you know,
and I don't think they all react the same way over time either.
Yeah. This is great stuff. As you can see, my level's about down here.
That one's tough to come by. I've seen this one occasionally online, but I can't find that one anywhere.
I've been kind of milking it.
I don't blame you.
I can't wait till you get into this one, because this is brawny. This is a little bit... It's going to flex its muscles a little bit.
Yeah, Campbelltown has that. Yeah. People talk about the Campbelltown funk, but to me, it's that seaside influence.
Yes.
A little bit of brininess in there.
Oh, without doubt, yeah. But the maltiness just glows in here.
And I know that's what excites Trenton.
It does.
Nothing like smelling it. Nothing like tasting the seaside. I'm fine when it's in a Yankee Candle. I don't want to taste the seaside. That involves too many things.
He's shaking his head back there. He looked at me and went, "Brawny?
What does that even mean?
It's meaty.
Briny?
Briny, too.
It's
the
meaty.
Saltiness.
It's got some character to it.
Never heard brininess meaning meatiness.
It's really, really good. It's really good.
It's got some muscles.
I see what you're doing. You probably looked up some meaty alternatives on like thesaurus.com to bring in, because some Barter's an English teacher, so he knows his vocabulary well.
Yes, he does.
Those SAT words.
Yes, he does.
Oh, that's good.
It's just so good. There's a lot.
Now, this one last year won the Online Scotch Whiskey Award Association.
Yes.
Whatever.
I forgot all about that. You're right.
But that one, Scotch of the Year. Of course, the Scotch that you can't get anywhere in the United States wins the award.
I love the malt note in here. It's not as biscuity as some other Scotch, but like I picked that up as a little bit more. It's got some earthiness to it a little bit.
And it changes a little bit. Now it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Coming back to it.
On the palate, I find it to be like a darker amber honey note for me is primary. Not a light, not clover.
Yeah. Sorry. I got to make a quick appearance and plug in the microphone.
You're ruining our Scotch video.
I think people wanted to see me in the Scotch video, too.
They've been calling for it.
Our microphone's about ready to die?
Yeah, we're good now.
Okay. All right. Thanks for fixing it.
No, it definitely is darker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. For having so few distilleries on that little region, Campbelltown just puts out some amazing things.
Yeah, they do.
That's
I
very
love
good.
it.
Very
I really
good.
do. All right. I got this special surprise for you. Okay. I ran into.
Scared?
No, you should not. You should be anticipating. I found this at Vine and Table down in Carmel, Indiana.
Okay.
Those guys are huge whiskey nerds, Scotch in general. Okay. I was looking around, and he said, "Did you look at this one over here at all?" And I said, "No. I mean, look at it. I mean, it says Blackadder.
I've never heard of it.
I mean, would you take a real solid look at this when, I didn't. I kind of passed over it. So when I read it, here's what's really cool. This is an independent bottler.
That's what I was wondering.
As you can tell. It's called the Smoking Islay. They don't give away their source.
Okay.
In the back here it says that we can't give it away. It kind of,
Okay.
But it's obviously a peated Scotch whiskey coming from the Isle of Islay. It is 59.3 ABV. Right. Okay, this is absolutely non-chill filtered.
Okay.
Natural color.
59.
But however, here's the kicker. You ready for this? It's not filtered at all.
Oh, really?
So,
oh, wow.
in here you'll find the bits from the barrel.
It comes with real estate.
It does.
That's a snow globe, man.
So when I first showed this to
I have
Trent,
never seen
he
something
cowered
like
in the corner in fear. He did. So
That's
he
impressive.
showed me this and he gave me a sample, and I was like, I absolutely have to have it. I think it was about $100, maybe just a tiny bit more. Wow. But it says the spirit of the legend, the very smoky, very peated Islay blended malt Scotch whiskey,
Okay, so
aged 10 years.
it's from a couple of
So
different
it has
places.
an age in the front. It absolutely says no chill filtration, no added color. But on the box, it'll explain to you that they don't even force it through any form of filter at all.
That's remarkable.
So it is fantastic, and I want to pour you a little bit of
Okay.
this because this is an experience.
I do like my
It
peated
really
Scotch.
is. I know you do.
I'll try some.
Oh boy, here we go. I don't want no smart comments.
We'll have to get him a fork.
I will be as scholarly as possible on this one.
Yeah, this is a good Scotch,
Well, you're way better at pulling out notes than I am. I just know that I like it or not.
right?
And most of the time I like it.
All right, take your time just a little bit with that, and I'll try to, honey, I'm doing my best to keep my comments, because you know how I like to let the cat out of the bag once in a while. I'm trying not to do that with this one. I'm trying to let Robert
Now,
kind of get into it a little bit.
Do you know
first.
the distilleries it's come from, or
No, they
Okay,
said
okay.
on the
They won't
box
tell you.
they will
Okay.
not tell you. They said that they can't give away their source because it'll give, they'll lose that relationship. Basically, is what they say.
the one note that I usually can pick out on an Islay Scotch
Okay.
is if it's got some Lafroig in it, I'll get that Band-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm definitely getting that here.
Yeah, I can too a little bit. Yeah, no, Robert is up on his
I do like the peated.
Islay Scotch and his
Yeah.
peated Scotch, more than I am. I'm just, I really get into Scotch, but I can't say that I am an expert in any of that.
Well, I told Kurt earlier this evening that my first experience with peated Scotch was, well, actually, it was one of my first experiences with Scotch. I got one of those whiskey around the world advent calendars. And the 3 or 4 bottles that were peated Scotches were just offensive. I just couldn't take it. I thought, this is not for me.
I know.
But then 6 months
Yeah.
later, I'm buying all these Islay Scotches and loving them.
You just don't
It changes,
know, do you?
yeah.
Right?
There's got to be some Lafroig in there.
Yeah, I can sense that Band-Aid for sure. It's nice.
It's actually pretty light. There's some fruitiness in there.
It is, to me, it's just so pure,
It's really nice.
oily.
It doesn't taste like it's 60% alcohol.
No, it doesn't. And we always hate to use the word smooth, but it's extremely smooth. Drinking whiskey, especially for the proof,
It really is.
it's just kind of an otherworldly experience, Trenton, when you're talking peated Scotch. It just comes straight out of that cask, straight in your bottle.
Well, the best thing about peated
really
Scotch
awesome.
is the next morning you're still tasting it, no matter how many times you.
That's a good.
So the finish goes on till the next
matter
morning.
How many times you brush your teeth, mouthwash, doesn't matter. You're still going to get that sense that you've had some peated Scotch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. I'd never heard of Blackadder as one of the independent bottlers. That's new to me.
I would have passed that over. I'm so glad. I don't remember the gentleman's name. I think it's the owner's son.
Okay.
I'm so glad that he redirected me back to this to take a look at it. Gave me a free sample because I'm so glad to have that down here. It's hard to explain. I'm trying to use all the correct words here, but boy, it's just a different type
It's
of
just
experience.
such a big flavor.
It is.
Yeah.
It's big. It's robust. It's meaty. It's a little bit ashy, but not quite. It's not real ashy.
Yeah.
It's more meaty, barbecue-y.
The barbecue.
Yeah.
that kind of campfire barbecue.
Yeah. Did you think so, Trent, when you had your sip?
Are you asking for a note of mine? Or?
I don't want to hear crusty PVC. No, I don't.
What did you get, really?
It's like I was eating a bologna sandwich while I was smoking a cigarette. That's what it reminds me of.
It
smells like bologna.
It's not a note I can relate to.
It smells like bologna.
As a non-smoker, I don't have any idea what that
I'm with you.
like.
He's a non-smoker too. He's just kind of.
Secondhand smoke.
So we eat a bologna sandwich, sitting around a table with poker buddies, smoking a bunch of cigarettes.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
White Wonder Bread, bologna.
The Scotch is probably better for you.
Now you know why I was so happy for you to do this video.
Oh, that's great.
Well, hey, that's all we got for you today. I hope you had a good time being here with us today.
Great. Thanks for inviting me.
I had a great time as well. Thank you for doing this Scotch show with me so much. We appreciate that. As always, guys, we ask you to please drink responsibly. And we'll see you next time. Maybe with Robert. He might stick around for a while, but who knows? But at least Trent and I will be here in the good old basement bourbon bar. See you later.